Hello, and thank you for viewing. Today, I am talking with Lauren Hill from SAF, the Second Amendment Foundation, and she is the Senior Vice President over there. And today, we're going to be talking about an exciting date that's coming up. It's August 26th, which is SAF's 50th anniversary. Lauren, thank you for chatting with me today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
It's really a pleasure to get an opportunity to chat with you and go over all of the exciting stuff that SAF has done in the past, what they've got going on now, and into the future. The one thing that I wanted to ask you about, and it's something that I've been talking to everyone about, considering you joined SAF about what, a year and a half ago now. Where exactly?
In November 2022, I actually was November 15th. I started 2 weeks after our executive director, Adam Kraut, started over here.
Okay, so you've been there for a little bit. You've got your
Mhm.
feet in real deep and you're busy as all can be. So obviously you got brought to the Second Amendment Foundation because you believe in them and their message, their vision and what they're working towards. So how would you describe SAF's current position where they are today? Is SAF meeting their goals, exceeding their goals? Where do you feel you guys are as an organization trying to get done what you're working on?
Sure. I mean, I think from a legal standpoint, we have that our legal program is strong and has been strong. I think we've been involved in over 260 court cases since its inception in 1974. Yeah, 74. But we also currently have almost 60 active lawsuits. I think like maybe 16 or 17 in just the state of California alone.
I think we are recognized as the legal powerhouse for Second Amendment litigation. Uh, I think we've got a string of victories out there that I can't imagine anybody being able to match that right now.
Because it did open up the floodgates. Like right now alone, I think the Second Amendment Foundation alone has 59 cases in court at one time right now.
Okay, I was going to ask that. I was going to estimate probably around 40, and I can't keep track of what you guys do. It is mind numbing, and it's incredible the amount of work that is getting done on a national level and whatnot. So that's, you said 59 cases.
I think we're at 59. We're currently
Okay.
working, I think, with 36 attorneys on those 59 cases.
Okay. That's incredible. What a team.
So I think there's a lot to kind of unpack there. Certainly, the Second Amendment Foundation is undergoing a transition right now. Alan Gottlieb, the founder of the organization, is in his 70s, and part of the reason I was brought on board was to be part of that future. So in that way, anyway, we're expanding the capabilities of the organization at an exponential scale through new hires and new ideas, and being able to have the personnel with the talent and vision to start building out some new programs. The foundation itself focuses on legal, I would say, activism, not so much advocacy, and education. And as we continue to, hire new people to look into those areas to see how we can do things either better or new things we can do, we're increasing our ability to have an impact in the Second Amendment area. As far as where the organization's positioned, we're certainly the old school organization when it comes to litigation. Since our inception, we've been involved in over 260 lawsuits. That's either as a plaintiff, as a party, I'm sorry, as a funder of one where it wasn't appropriate for us to be a party to the lawsuit, or as an amicus to somebody else's lawsuit. Right now, we have 55 active cases across the country dealing with everything from sensitive places post Bruin, assault weapons bans, magazine capacity challenges, challenges to ATF's regulations, both as to the pistol braces and the frames of receivers, and a whole other gamut of issues that affect people's day-to-day lives, both big and small. So I would say that certainly, litigation is our bread and butter. We're very good at it. We're very fortunate to have a core team of attorneys that we work with who are some of the best in the nation on this issue. So I would say that's kind of where we're positioned today.
Yeah, so as director of legal operations, I kind of oversee the litigation portfolio. I kind of act as Adam's right-hand man and do the oversight and kind of some of the operational and administrative duties that go along with managing our 50 plus pieces of active litigation to try to keep as much of that off of Adam's plate as possible and keep the wheels of the law machine rolling.
And there's a lot going on. You said 50 plus cases. I think Alan said 59. I think Dave snuck out 60. So there's all kinds of numbers that I'm getting, and I don't know which ones are 100% on the record, but you guys are busy, right?
We're definitely super busy. I think 59 is right. I'd have to go back and check my spreadsheet, but yeah, it's almost 60, if not 60 pieces of active litigation now. You know, staff has been involved in over 200 cases since its founding, 200 pieces of litigation. And right now, especially since the Bruin decision came out in June of 2022, it's, you know, the floodgates have been flung wide open again. So, you know, we are involved in as many cases as we can, in as many jurisdictions as we can. And there's definitely some big stuff that's been percolating in the courts already for a while, that we're excited about in hopefully the near future. The two big names that, you know, that jump out, and I'm sure, you know, our astute readers will be familiar with are going to be the Bianchi case coming out of the Fourth Circuit.
Yep.
That's our Maryland assault weapons case. And then the Harrell case coming out of the Second Circuit, that's our Illinois assault weapons case. So both of those are up on petition for certiorari before the United States Supreme Court, and we're hoping that one or both gets picked up by SCOTUS and we get this assault weapons issue put to bed sooner rather than later.
So of those 55 to 60 cases, we'll call, because there's a lot going on and moving and going, you know, happening. What would you say the current big SAF cases are that you want to really draw attention to? And, you know, any other case that kind of really excites you as well?
You know, I get asked that question a lot, and I don't have a great answer to it because I think it depends on who's sitting on the other side of the table asking the question. What's I view as impactful may not affect them at all, and likewise, what they may view as, you know, very important may be something that I say, like, yeah, it's important, but it's not the most important thing. I think right now, if I were to try to give a general answer, I would think it would be the cases that are dealing with carry in some form or fashion. So any of our sensitive places cases, particularly the bigger ones in like New York, Jersey, California, Maryland, for instance, and the assault weapons ban cases / magazine capacity. And I'll give you the reason why I think those are the most important. Right now, if you look at the Supreme Court and the decisions that it's made in the Second Amendment area from Heller to now, you have Heller, which said that there's an individual right to keep arms in the home. It also did talk about bear, and it set forth the test that was to be applied. 2 years later, you get McDonald SAF case, which incorporates that against the states. You have a per curiam opinion in Catano that says stun guns are in fact protected arms. And then you get Bruin, which really solidifies that carry outside the home bearing arms is protected by the Second Amendment. And it reiterates the test that was established back in Heller. What Bruin didn't do was expand on a number of things, including so-called sensitive places, where these areas are, things like that. So if we look logically at how the court has treated Second Amendment challenges, you get individual right, you get keep, does talk about bear, incorporation, arms that were not in existence at the time of the founding are protected. And then Bruin, you get the test reiterated, and that bearing arms outside the home is in fact protected. So I think the next logical leap for the court to make, if it's going to take an issue, would be, again, another carry issue because of all the things that states and municipalities have done post Bruin to try to hinder people's ability, or you get the court addressing that, you know, so-called assault weapons and magazines of a certain capacity are in fact protected arms. I think logically that's the next leap for the court to make, and that's why I would say that those cases are probably the most important cases we have currently.
Well, I mean, and this is kind of off topic, but your opinion on that. considering that there was already so-called assault weapons bans granted, vacated, and remanded, don't you think that this would have been already in the bag?
Well, I never try to assume anything's in the
Right.
bag with constitutional law or with the Supreme Court, because you just
Sure.
never know. Um, but yeah, I mean, all indications are at this point is that we think that we've got a Supreme Court lineup right now that is sympathetic to the assault weapons issue, and that sees the issue the way that they should. And in particular, in light of the Bruin test that was reiterated, the Bruin and Heller test that was reiterated a couple years ago. We think that the court is poised to slap some of these circuits down that are continuing to kind of thumb their nose at the Heller and Bruin opinions, and hopefully make some big steps forward here so we can stop litigating these issues over and over again.
Perfect. Yeah. So outside of those two big ones, are there any other cases that you're personally excited about or SAF is excited about? That's because there's a lot going on, and like trying to cover what you guys do, I can only cover a fraction of it because it's like drinking from a fire hose, to be honest.
Yeah. So there are a couple other interesting cases that we're involved in. We're involved in a case called Hunter versus CHA, which is a public housing case. We've done cases like this in the past, and I think we're interested in doing a few more that we're looking at right now, where we have folks that live in federally and state subsidized public housing. And the governments acting as landlord are putting in the lease agreement that you can't possess firearms in your own home, which is a clear violation of the Second Amendment, and multiple courts have already found such. And yet we have housing authorities all over the country that are still kind of dragging their feet and fighting, kicking and screaming, to take these unconstitutional lease provisions out of their leases, and make sure that the folks that need subsidized housing and need assistance from the government to help with their housing don't have to choose between putting a roof over their head and exercising their rights. So that's one that we're interested, that I find interesting and that we're excited about. And then the other fun one that we're doing right now is Green v. Garland. That's out of the Western District of Pennsylvania. That's our medical marijuana case.
Right. And that
which
just
is
got
seeking
some motion recently too, right? That
yeah
got some
yeah
movement
so
recently.
we've got a motion
Yep.
for preliminary injunction pending on that one. Adam filed our reply just a few days ago.
Okay.
So yeah, that one is cooking, and we're hoping the court does the right thing and we see some movement on that one soon. But that one's looking to overthrow the 922 G3 prohibition on the users of medical marijuana specifically, and their ability to possess firearms and ammunition.
I think where we are, I think coming on board, one of the things that I want to do is make sure that people really understand and know about the organization. It's been so focused on its legal program that it hasn't really focused on, marketing and communications and branding and awareness of the mission and the work that's being done. So I think coming in here and building out some of that foundational stuff on that side of the organization is what I'm working on currently and have been working on for the last several months.
Okay, that's great. And that was my next question. I was going to talk about, your role in the Second Amendment Foundation and, going forward, what else do you want to see the organization achieve, with you and your role of, okay, you're getting the word out. Like, what else do you see for the future?
Well, I think one of the things that I first did when I came on board was revamp our corporate partner program. We did have several corporate partners that were, in the industry and knew about the work that we were doing and wanted to support. But I revamped that program, and in the last year, I think we've onboarded 16 new corporate partners, which also helps with some of that, branding and mission awareness, because they're usually really great in helping us reach out to their customer base. So I think that that's something that I've been very proud of in the last year. We also created and launched a new website that I think that it showcases SAF very nicely and also gets the education out of everything that we're involved in.
Right. And that's pretty cool. And you also are in the process of launching a new web store, right? I think that's in development.
Yeah, it's one of the many projects we're working on.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So looking at SAF today from a lens of yesterday, so if you turned back the clock to that 50 years ago, how would you say SAF turned out? What would young Alan say to current Alan?
Well, back then it was a pipe dream to get to where we are, and we accomplished the dream. And I'm quite frankly a little shocked myself that we've been as effective as we had. It's been quite a train ride for these 50 years. Uh, and our track record has been amazing. And back then, I never really would have expected us to be able to be this successful. And I guess I owe this a lot to a lot of other people. I mean, we have a great board of directors, we have great supporters, members, and donors, and a lot of people, in the media that help, promote what we've done. It's been amazing. I could never guess we'd be this successful. However, now that we've reached this plateau, so to speak, we're going to go a lot further, and we've got a lot of new people on staff. I can say that there's a legacy that I can leave behind, and other people can take it and run with it. And I'm really proud of that legacy, and I'm really proud of all the new people we attracted, on our staff and on our board.
Okay, well, I've got two more questions for you, if you'll indulge me. The first one has to do with some of the changes. So I noticed that like you guys revamped the website. You guys have a new web store coming. You've got all kinds of things going on at SAF, and I think it's all positive stuff. Seeing some of these changes. Now, one of the things that did change a little bit, slightly, is the logo of SAF, right? The eagle. I want to know if you'll tell us all the story, because there's a story about that logo, isn't there? That I was wondering
Yeah,
if you would share with everyone, because I think this is a really cool story.
yeah, that's why the logo has changed a bit, but not a lot, because the genesis of the logo stayed the same. The eagle and inside the number 2 for the Second Amendment. But he's got a little more feathering, a little bit more ferocious look, a little bit better beak on him. So it's minor, but it's meaningful. The reason why I didn't change it a whole lot,
Right.
quite frankly, is the story behind it's really great. When Jimmy Carter was president, because he was not a pro-gun rights president, it was anti-gun. The White House artist was pro-gun and wasn't very happy at the White House's positions that Jimmy Carter and his staff was taking. And so one day, out of nowhere, shows up on my desk our new logo that the White House artist did for us on his own time, gratis. And so it's got a really fun backstory to it. And people don't really know that. It's not, we don't get a chance to publicize that, but that's where our logo came from.
Well, I think also that we have not only done things that are a little unusual at the Second Amendment because we've been small. We've had a small team. Alan and I, we never have ever had to run something past a committee to accomplish everything that we've done over the last 25 years as a team. That's on us. If we had failed, we failed. We took a bite of their bad sandwich and swallowed it, and then moved on to the next project. We don't run around pointing the finger of blame at everybody. Just stand in the mirror and say, look, we screwed up. Let's try harder tomorrow. And it's been really successful. Alan Gottlieb, he just astounds me. He's a couple of years older than I am. And he's still got the fire in the belly like he did when I first met him almost 40 years ago. And 40 years is a long time. That's a lot longer than somebody's entire lifespan. And I'm right now pushing 75, and it's time for me to go sit under a tree someplace and swat flies or something. But we've had a good run, and I predict that the Second Amendment Foundation's run isn't even halfway done yet. We've got a lot of miles to go, and SAF is going to get there, guaranteed.
We're about ready to wrap up. I just wanted to ask you about anything else that you would like to get out there, that maybe we didn't cover, talking about the Second Amendment Foundation in general, the 50th anniversary.
Mhm.
Do you have anything?
Well, as you know, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary in August of this year. 50 years is something that we're celebrating all year, but we will be really kind of showcasing that at our gun rights policy conference in September. It's September 27th to 29th, and it will be held in San Diego, California this year. So anyone who would like to come out, the event is free. And I, as we're looking to grow it, over the course of the next couple of years, I think it's something that's quite important in the educational aspect. We have a lot of legal scholars and attorneys that come who are actually fighting the fight in the court system.
Absolutely. And I'm scheduled to come out. I haven't booked my tickets yet, but I did register, so I'm on the rolls with Second Amendment Foundation. I have a room selected and ready to roll, so all I got to do is just hit the buy button on my tickets. But I'll be seeing you out there in September, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Well, I very much looking forward to you coming and us hanging out a little bit. So thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for giving me your time. I definitely appreciate, all the work that you and everyone else at the Second Amendment Foundation are doing. And thank you for giving me the time out of your day to talk about this
Thank you, John.
monumental time. Thanks.